Evening, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start this, open session of the, Sumner County Board of Education. This meeting that, will be January 24th. Before we do, I'm going to stand for Norman Thomas, and then on the start, I'd like to move the Brown family, that way, Norman family, we'll go this thing, followed by the pledge of allegiance. If you want to do like one, please feel free to do so. Before we get started, I made the practice to read opening statements, and for those of you who don't come very often, I think it's important to do. So I'll read those and then we'll get started. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you here this evening to the business meeting of the Sumner County Board of Education. Before we get started on our agenda tonight, I want to do a little housekeeping to be sure that everyone here is all on the same page. As previously mentioned, this is a business meeting of the Sumner County Board of Education. Something that's not only welcome, but invited to be our guest at any meeting. We're here tonight to conduct the business that is on our agenda, and that is exactly what we're going to do. In the past, the chair has requested that all who are present adhere to the rules and follow proper decorum. This is an issue that some who decide they don't want to follow the rules. Those rules include but not limited to the calls during the meeting, with the exception of our group of people who recognize tonight from home line. Some outbursts roughly making noise that is distracting to the podium or board members, yielding to the chair who calls to do so. I was elected by the majority of my peers on board to chair the meetings and see that our job gets done, and I intend to fulfill my duties. If disruptions break out, you put the chair in a position that I prefer not to be in, but for the sake of it all. The chair has several things that can be done in this case. Meetings can be recessed for 10 minutes, 10 days, or as long as the chair feels it's necessary. The chair can adjourn the meeting, and this meeting will be over. The chair can have the disruptor or disruptors removed from the meeting, or the chair can clear the whole room. I prefer to have a very respectful meeting and not have to deal with any of this, but I'm prepared to do so if necessary, and there will be no warning to this issue. I wish none of this. I wish only to have a productive meeting with all of you here who are respecting and making rules. During the recognition of public, all comments are to be made directly to the chairman. You do not call out any board member, school district employee, or any other member of the public by name. Inflammatory, disruptive, or vulgar language that, in the opinion of the chairman, is intended to elicit a reaction from the crowd will not be tolerated. If these rules are not followed, the microphone will be cut off and the people will be instructed to sit down. Thank you in advance for being a well-behaved guest. The first item on the agenda is called to order. So I call the meeting to order. The second item on the agenda is the roll call, and I would like to issue an apology for Mr. Daniels. Mr. Daniels is on the phone with us, but he wanted me to apologize to you. He wishes he could be here, but work kept him away, and so he wanted to let you know that he was out of here, but he is at work. But he will be attending the meeting by phone tonight, which means that all votes will be roll call votes. Next item on the agenda is adoption of the regular agenda. Do we have a motion? So moved by Ms. Wise, second by Ms. Page. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Daniels will call the roll.
Ms. Lancaster? Yes. Ms. Akers? Ms. King? No. Ms. Hawkins? Ms. Daniels? Yes. Ms. Wise? Here. Ms. Rager? Mr. Rager? Here. Ms. White? Here. And the chairman?
Here. Just for clarification, what's here? Does that mean yes? You voted here? Okay, that means yes. I I've not heard that before, so I want to make sure.
Well, I'm both. Yeah.
Well, I think it's here, but it's the people, I still love them. Next item on the agenda is, trying to get back home. I think, Ron, that's what that's all. That's my belief. Adoption of the consent agenda, is there a motion? Motion is mine. Second by Mr. Gregory, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye or here. I'm sorry, we got to do roll call. I'm sorry, we got to do roll call. I'm sorry. Mr. Johnson.
Ms. Bates. Ms. Lancaster.
Yes.
Ms. Andrews. Ms. King.
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins. Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Ms. Wise.
Yes.
Ms. Gregory.
Yes.
Ms. Lacy.
Yes.
Chairman Brewer.
Yes. Here. Next item on the agenda is addition of consideration of minutes, discussion and action regarding the meeting. Is there a motion? Approved, Mr. Lancaster, Ms. King, any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Johnson, take the roll.
Ms. Bates. Ms. Lancaster. Ms. Andrews. Ms. King.
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins. Ms. Daniels.
Yes.
Ms. Wise.
Yes.
Ms. Gregory.
Yes.
Ms. Lacy.
Yes.
Chairman Brewer.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is recognition, hearing, delegation, recognition, for Montrose, is that you, Mr. Myers? All right.
Let's get Mr. Brewer come up and join me. Mr. Martin Brewer is the principal at Oakmont Elementary School. And there has been a very prestigious award given to Oakmont. They've actually earned it. And I'll give you some reasons that they've earned this award. Oakmont has been recognized as a Tennessee Memorial School 5 over the last 8 years. Oakmont was recognized as a national ESEA distinguished school by Tennessee Department of Education. The program recognizes high-performing Title I schools for their outstanding academic achievements. Schools are recognized for achievement in one of three categories. Category 1, exceptional student performance and academic growth 2 or more consecutive years as determined by each state. Category 2 closes the achievement gap between student groups for 2 or more consecutive years as determined by each state. Category 3, excellence in serving special populations of students. Oakmont Elementary is a Category 1 school having exceptional student performance and academic growth for 2 or more consecutive years determined by the state of Tennessee as a Title I school. Oakmont is one of 2 schools in the state, 2 schools in the state that received this honor for the 2023 school year. 1 out of 2. Good old Oakmont. Because only 2 schools per state can be selected as a national ESEA distinguished school each year, this award is especially prestigious honor for Oakmont Elementary and Turner County schools. Small schools doing big things. And I would like to get Mr. Brewer to add any comments he'd like to, and while he's doing that, I want to get all of your faculty, staff, that might be your students, that might be here tonight, to come up here. Come on, Robin Bash.
I know with your wise words there, small but like, yeah, so that's right. Okay, tell you who who's on the ground here is responsible for all of the hard work. We have kindergarten teacher, Christine Hewitt. First grade, James Harvey, Leslie Persley. Second grade, Angie Isbell. Third grade, Amy Woodruff. Fourth grade, Melissa Calvert, Meredith Baker. Fifth grade, Jennifer Kelton. Special ed teachers, Cindy Hills and Rachel Krause. EL teacher, Raina Beck. And then our Title I para, Jacqueline English, regular ed para, Linda Langford, special ed para, Tara Wood, and our regional interventionist, Laura George, all have their hands on students every single day. Of course, Principal Brian Brewer and the administrator, Kyle Martin. So proud.
And then I told Frankie I was gonna talk a little bit about it's the whole staff. And some of the ones that I want to recognize are not only the teachers up here, but our related arts, because everybody is a teacher. It doesn't matter, my bookkeeper up there, Miss Brenda's been there, well, attended Oakmont, and she's been there, I'm not gonna say how long. She has her hands on the students. My clerk does RTI. Miss Walsh, our related arts teacher, teaches RTI. Miss Twine, the guidance counselor, teaches students. Who else I got in here? I'm gonna go, Miss Kreider. All related arts teachers, it doesn't matter what your position is, you're there to educate students. And we have our PTA representative here, I have 2 officers up here. Everybody has that, my officer right there. They didn't come up. Ms. Pitt is integral in what we do in supporting students. And, like Mr. White said, that's our motto. We're a small school, but we're doing big things with our kids. And it's shown. A lot of first programs in the last 8 years. We're the first Title I to be a 1-to-1 school. We're the first to be a state designated STEM school. And so there's a lot going on, and we're just the foundation for these students to succeed. And it was great to be recognized by the state, but more by you guys. And it's the support of the board, our instructional department, special ed, Frankie with Title I, and our EL department, because like we're category 1, so that means all our students are achieving, no matter what challenges they face. So thank you for the opportunity to be recognized tonight. I have a banner that was given to us, and I would have some pins for you guys. You guys helped make this happen too. So I appreciate your support and the leadership of the instructional department. Thank you.
That commemorates your recognition for this moment. We really do appreciate you. Thank you for such hard work. And children, so good to see y'all. Y'all my favorite people.
Next week, we're going to Indianapolis, because they will be nationally recognized, as a Title I distinguished school for Center County, so that's really exciting as well. And we have a video that will be shown at the conference really quick, if, you want to put the table here.
Smallest elementary school, with a population of 135 students here. Culture of our school is extremely important, and it's embedded in everything we do, making sure that everybody is taken care of. If they see a problem, they are comfortable coming to the teacher or staff member.
Is it smaller? Do you have more people can pay more attention to and what you're struggling on, so they can help you more? I mean, this place is just a great place because everyone understands just an office.
Fortunate to be a report school here in Tennessee for 5 times in the last 8 years. This is attributed to our culture. When we did it the first time, they were extremely excited. We had never received that recognition. And then we received it the next year. And now it has turned into an expectation that if they don't receive that reward status, teachers start to reflect and say, oh, we're doing this more. Oakmont integrated into everything we do. They combine ELA and math into different projects, CDLs, other hands-on activities, and then once or 9 weeks we do a school spirit project where kindergarten through fifth graders come together, and it promotes collaboration, it promotes leadership for those older students to take on kindergartners and help them learn and achieve side by side. Oakmont does a really good job of addressing all of their students, making sure that achieving high in the achievement level and closing those learning gaps in our English language students, our special ed students, and those that are over socioeconomic level. And we treat all students as one of the main needs that all students, whether it's the champions or different things, anything.
All right, next item on the agenda is the hearing of delegation, public comment. We have, Julia Kit. If I mispronounce the name, I want to say it. Well, I can't say it right either, so. If you would give your name and address for the record, and then have 5 minutes to speak on the agenda.
My name is Julia Garnett. I live on 115 Sears Lane in Fort Worth, and I attend Hendersonville High School. And I'm here tonight to speak on the review process of library materials, also for 143. Members of the board, before I really begin, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight and for the last of the board meeting. Thank you for listening and respecting my opinion, even if you don't always agree. As a student, I'm constantly learning that my voice matters, and that I can create change for myself and the community simply by speaking my truth. And I hope to inspire others around me to do the same. I speak tonight not only as a student, but as a leader. As the president of my school's AJ Alliance and Young Women's Studies Club, it is not only my right, but my obligation to speak for the rights of students in my school and this county. I have the right to stand up and speak here in this setting at a board meeting about topics ranging from book banning to policy, and my opinion is respected and listened to. So I ask you, why haven't students been included as part of the book review process in our schools as these decisions impact us the most? I'm not asking for anything complicated or radical. I'm not asking to watch R-rated movies in the classroom. I'm simply asking to read books and deliver an opinion on them. I'm asking for our schools and this board to recognize our rights as students and as people. We have First Amendment rights as students to learn free from censorship and discrimination, and yet I'm not even given the chance to study my rights at my own school. There was recently a book process. It was gone so quickly that those reviewing it didn't have the time to see it. As students who immediately read the book upon hearing about it, I wish that I had given a chance to at the very least be listened to, not dismissed, not criticized, but to be heard. I would like to add that this is at no fault of my school, because there wasn't a precedent for a student's opinion at the time. This is a mistake of the past, and I'm appealing to this board to prevent similar ones in the future. I'm asking you to set a precedent. I'm proposing to the board that language be added into the draft policy 4.403 that would allow students with parental permission to express their views on any book put up for review in the textbook stage. I'm asking for the committee to give an ample time to read these books to prevent rash, uninformed decisions. I'm also asking that the committee remain composed of members from the school community, for example, teachers, administrators, parents, librarians, and quite possibly students. Because I have faith in this group of people to fairly and actively assess challenge books when given the time to succeed. And finally, I'm asking for students at the very least to be given the opportunity to write impact statements to highlight their own views on the challenge books, with these statements to be read at committee meetings should students continue to be again attending. Despite this appointment, I would respect the students to keep students out of these committees, but I also feel that it's important for our voices to speak in ways in these important discussions, either by written or direct involvement. Quoting from the draft policy, a complaint about a school library material can be made by a prime employee, parent, guardian, or student of the school where the library material is maintained. I ask you, how is it that we as students have the right to file a complaint against the book, but not the right to defend it? I'm asking you to change this and allow the students to defend the very same book so they can also challenge. Some people have wondered why speak for a student's voice in books and schools when I leave after next year anyway? Why put myself through this when I'm glared at by half the room, laughed at, and walked into the seat, muttered at while I'm speaking, and have to walk down to my car after every meeting? I don't do this because it's easy. It's certainly not easy on me or my parents. I do this because I want to leave Southern County better than when I first started kindergarten at Lady Grove Elementary. My purpose tonight is not only to speak for my own rights, but for the rights of students across this county. When I speak for the current students in this county and also those who aren't here yet. I do this because everyone deserves to feel represented and heard in this county, even the forgotten voices. I'm asking you to make the right decision for the students of Sumner County. It might not be an easy choice for you to make, but how can we represent all of us if some of us can't speak our minds in this review process? History won't just go away if we ignore it. We can't change the mistakes of the past, but you as board members certainly have the power to prevent them in the future. Please consider this request for the sake of the current students and the future generations that will grow up in Sumner County. Listen to your future. Our voices matter, and to be given consideration in these important decisions. Thank you to the members of the board. Thank you to the other students who might hear from tonight, and you that are attending, and to any students who are listening. I see you, I hear you, and I'm happy to speak for our rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy Silva.
I am teaching math and comes out with today's lecture. As we read throughout today's book, and take away from the speed of reading. And we all know why that is the challenge. But what about speed? President of the whole thing is great. Have a gift to drink coffee. Is there anyone what about you?
I hate to interrupt you, those books are not on the agenda, please just keep on one day on the agenda. We speak on it tonight.
Any book can be happy and appropriate for children. The next opportunity we can all interpret every book physically. Please keep weight subject on the shelf.
Hartsville Heights, and Valley Road.
Good evening, school board members. I'm here to ask you to keep ways to make fun time on the library shelf. Because this book challenge is very real. The book challenge A Place Inside of Me was also very real. After reading these books specifically, and the book my daughter had planned on mentioning, they don't hate white people. They don't think all police officers are bad. They don't feel self-doubt. They don't want to run away from home. They don't want to steal things. They don't worry about trials and dangers. We in fact preach kindness, respect, and love above all else in our house. Are some of the conversations we have after reading these books difficult? Absolutely. But even after reading these books, our daughters are some of the most kind-hearted, loving, accepting, and caring and respectful children you could ever meet. Their teachers and school staff often say they wish they had a whole class full of tables and rooms. And I not only stand here for my daughters to be represented in the stories of the school library, I stand here for my friend Hoso. That when her 6-year-old daughter browses books at the school library, she wants to see a wide variety of choices, including books with main characters who look like her, with brown skin and beautiful curly hair. So that when her 13-year-old son looks for the next book to read, she wants him to have access to authors with different points of view and varying life experiences. Representation matters. All students, regardless of their race, can learn and benefit from reading books written by authors of diverse backgrounds, such as different cultures, ethnicities, appearances, and disabilities. These books can offer a different perspective on life and help widen the reader's view on the world. I stand for my friend Sarah, who believes that children living in low-income households, or even in poverty, have a right to read the narratives of characters like them whose parents may be struggling with job loss and financial or housing insecurity, so that they know they are not alone. I stand for my friend Jessica, whose family values inclusive books, because they provide an opportunity for all students to build empathy, confidence, and self-acceptance. They help students learn how to get along with others in the classroom and beyond to appreciate the beauty found in diversity. In addition to providing validation and affirmation to students who are represented, reading books with characters with different perspectives and experiences have increased their child's ability to think critically and seek a more just world. I stand for students like Julia, who believe inclusive books not only belong in our schools, but deserve to be protected so that all students can walk into the library and find a book that represents them. I stand for my friend Sam, who believes that these books need to be accessible to all families in Sumner County, for children to learn how to empathize with other people's cultures and experiences, for this is a way for us to make a gradual change towards unity. However, privilege in this county has been outweighing the basic rights and safety of minorities, and enough is enough. I stand for my friend Precious, who says every day her daughters must learn and experience a world where they are the minority, both in race and gender. It is then her responsibility as a Black woman and parent to find material that they can relate to. Going to the school library gives her girls access to other options outside of what is being taught in the classroom. Taking away this book would mean that Sumner County doesn't care that her daughters have access to books that represent them. Representation does matter. If it didn't, then this book wouldn't be an issue. The removal of this book to her would just be the start of more being taken away from them. I would like to thank the wonderful educators in this county, as my daughters, Hazel and Rosie, have received such an amazing education so far. In fact, they have been taught to read, they have been taught to write, they are taught arithmetic, and they are taught science and history every single day. I would like to say to the librarians of our county and to the teachers that I support you and know that there is nothing you would do to intentionally expose my children or anyone else's to something that wasn't age appropriate or dangerous. I respect you as the professionals you are, and thank you for loving my daughter and all students.
You would have taken names there.
Yes, my name is Patricia
Smith, and I live at 112 England Place in Hendersonville. I'm here on behalf of my two grandchildren who attend Jack Anderson Elementary in the 4th and 5th grades respectively. I have an extensive background in education. I'm a retired principal teacher, special ed teacher, Title I teacher. Spent lots and lots of years working with children of special needs and teaching children of all kinds. And what I realized is that reading proficiency is maybe the most important thing that we can impart to our kids. And this is your job to help your staff do this. I ask you, because of this, to please hold key ways to make sunshine in school libraries. It is, I hope y'all read this book. It's a really precious book, and I hope that you see that the complaints against this book are contrived and maybe as much as disingenuous. Ways to Make Sunshine is well written, and it's a magnificent example of realistic fiction which all students can identify. I hope it is read by all kinds of people, all kinds of ages. I love this book. But reading proficiency, well, we teach reading as educators, and it is very demanding. And it demands our proficiency from our educators to teach these skills, but reading proficiency depends on students taking enjoyment in this skill and choosing to read lots and lots of books. I found out recently that Jack Anderson has maybe 15,000 books in their library. There's a lot of books out there, and that's wonderful. So providing a wide variety of reading choices and opportunities in our schools is paramount to promoting this reading proficiency, which opens all kinds of doors to all kinds of students. Efforts to restrict these choices and opportunities do a huge disservice to our students. I am a retired principal, and I had schools about the size of the school that we had up here, by the way. One of the schools was called Pax Elementary in Pax, West Virginia, and our mascot was the Wildcat. And so, and it was about the same time. And I went to that school, it was my first assignment as a principal. And that school had the second lowest test scores in the district. 5 years later, we had the second highest test scores in the district. Now, this was 30 years ago. But still, the way I did that, the way we did that as a staff, is create the love of reading. We have to show our students that we love to read, that it is fun, so that they will choose it and they will read lots and lots. And so what I was able to do was take many students who were very poor. We were Title I school. I had 75% free and reduced lunches at school. And I was able to open doors. We were able, our staff, together, we were able to open doors for our students. And I still think about them and how happy they were and how excited they were. I want to let you know that I'm a huge fan of Sumner County Schools under your direction. I'm so happy with the education that my grandkids are getting. I ask you to please support your team, support your school, support really good books like this. Support your professionals and support all families. And I commend you for including in your policy ways for families to ban, to restrict their own students from reading certain books. That's fine, and I appreciate you guys doing that. But please don't let people do that for my family. Let my family do that for my family. So when considering your policies and procedures, please ensure that your decisions like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Total Shepherd? I'm Chairman.
Chairman,
Thank you very much for the record, and, I thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Sheriff. My name is Cole Shepherd. I live at 637 East Main Street, Gallatin. And I want to speak tonight on ways to make sunshine and specifically address a couple of items. One main item, an issue that I've heard over and over about this book is some people are upset about the word black being capitalized and the word white not being capitalized when referring to people. Granted, this may be a little less apparent for a lot of people, but in the United States, there are two main style manuals written in English. That's the AP style, which is Associated Press, and then there's the Chicago style. AP style is the prominent, and that pretty much governs how written English is used in the United States of America. It covers commas and capitalizations and all these things. And granted, most people may not know that. Now, I am a little dismayed that one of our library board members doesn't know that. But I have brought some relevant material from the Associated Press. The Associated Press, which governs the vast bulk of publishing in the United States of America, that whether you agree with it or not, and, you know, I'm agnostic on this. But that's the style manual. So the publisher chose to use AP style. The writer very seldom has any say in that. The publisher uses AP style, which, by the way, the state of Tennessee uses AP style. The Tennessee University system uses AP style. The Tennessee Extension, Agriculture Extension Service uses AP style. And that's just a short list I found in less than 30 seconds. Look, here. So, what this is these are the rules of written English in the United States of America. So I want to nip that in the bud right now. I mean, you can agree with it, disagree with it. It really doesn't matter. That's the way it's written. Now, it's subject to change. English language is not static. It's ultimately a good thing, so it may change. But I have copies of that if anyone's interested. And that I would just like to move that issue out of the way because I think it's perhaps right because there's a lot of misunderstanding. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Sir Hilton? Everyone now give your name and address to the record.
I'm Sarah Elton. I live at 2317 East Madison Road in Gallatin, and I just wanted to come up here. I emailed all of you, and I heard back from a few, but I told you for the ones that maybe didn't see my email, I just wanted to hear my support for keeping ways to make sunshine. With both of the books that have been off the discussion, I immediately ran to my children because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about before I said, keep the book. And I felt confident that if there was something that I didn't think was appropriate with my kids, that I could then have a conversation with them to explain how our family felt or, you know, what have you. But we liked both of them. That place inside of me, it was fine. A couple of my kids lost interest, but my oldest one, she read it in TA review, like her thoughts on it, and then Ways to Make Sunshine reminded me of a modern day Ramona Quimby, which we've run that series to my kids. And my oldest one, who only reads fairy books, actually took it after her son reading it to all the kids. And I'm going to be reading them on my own, which was great because there's a lot of fairy books out there. So I just hope that you all got to read the book and can see from your own point of view that it is just a cute story about fourth graders, and fourth graders are not always nice. And I have 3 girls in my house, one happens to be a fourth grader, and they can try and dig deep. So it's just things that, like, the problems that have been discussed are things that fourth graders sometimes like us. And yeah, I just hope everybody read it, and we keep the book in the library, and we
keep going with the review process as it stands. Thank you.
Mr. McCarty? Come on down, you can make the record, and have a, speak on.
Good evening, my name is Stephanie Martin. You all are aware that I was with your council and I have another decision to keep the vote with Commissioner Brown. I'd like to share with you one of my public studies that is positive encouragement on children education. Throughout this entire list of overall use of circumstances that have reasons so far as I know. You've made out to you that this is recently and your reactions to some of these situations portray a sense of entitlement and self-indulgence. Compared to self-evident in some ways that would take their differences in a negative light. You look to and find skin color in many of the circumstances as the victims that define who she is and how she is. On several occasions, the mother made out to be pessimistic towards her children and her husband, and the father makes negative connotations as well, even towards life. The text repeatedly makes the consumer takes right. Well, this is capitalized in fact. And everything I have researched about publishing and authors reviews to believe that white people is now not so treated on the same level of dignity and respect than those who are not white. It has always been and always will be ethically and morally wrong to portray any person or group of people as inferior or less important to another for any reason. I find it so unfortunate that children today are being manipulated and taught into thinking that they are somehow at a disadvantage or advantage for things such as their family income status and social status, skin color, or other physical characteristics, what clothes they wear, things they own, I should go on. We were not created to be put in the labels of categories based on any of these criteria, and so long as we continue to make them such, it will never change. My husband and I are Christians, and we teach our children that we are all created by God. This is our commonality that is possible, and that no one is better or less than another for that reason, while also understanding that He created us all unique in our own way as individuals. That is why there is not one person in the room that has the exact physical attributes of another. With that said, we also teach biblical principles that we all sin, another example of our shared unity and equality, and we are to seek out forgiveness and guidance to help us not do it again. Therefore, we are always to have compassion and show love towards others. But we are still to recognize them for what it is. We also teach them that we are not to look so well standing or right and acceptable, but to seek out for guidance on how to live and treat others. In Genesis 1:27 states, so God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him, male and female, He created them. In Psalm 139:13-14, it states, for You created my inmost being, You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise You because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. My first grader's best friend for the last couple of years was the world categorizing for the black girls. They were both adorable, sweet, playful little girls that were drawn to each other because of these characteristics that they shared. Neither of them used skin color as a basis for the friendship, and it is possible to insinuate that children are naturally inclined to think this way. My fourth grader chose to be Rosa Parks for the night to meet them event last year at Peak Elementary. She didn't choose Rosa Parks because she was black. It never occurred to my daughter that there might be people who think she shouldn't have chosen Rosa Parks because she is white. She chose to be Rosa Parks because of what an incredibly positive impact she had on the wrongdoings at that time, which aligned with our biblical values. She picked up weights to make sunshine in her classroom library, not because there was a black girl on the cover, but because there was a girl, much like herself, and age and stature, and thought that this might be done to read. In Matthew 18:4-6, it states, whoever humbles himself like a child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever receives one such child my name will be saved. But whoever causes one of these little ones to believe and needs to sin, it is better for him to have a great home than passing around his neck to his grandmother's death. Children are a blessing and a gift from God, filled with innocence, laughter, and joy. For this reason, as adults, we are expected to set boundaries for them until they are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually mature enough to deal with their situations. If we continue on a path to conform to adapt to cultural standards, we are going to continue on a path of destruction for our children. Young adults are suffering at unprecedented levels today because of what they are exposed to in today's world. We cannot just simply sit back and allow the school system to engage in the same exposure and continue to manipulate and use our children to push an agenda. This is wrong, and our children deserve better than that. The schools do not have this right, no matter how much the schools try to assimilate that they do. As parents, we are not giving our children over to the schools to do outside things. We expect schools to educate our children on the basics, and that is it. It is not their responsibility to direct their social and emotional development to their lives. This is exclusively and solely our God-given right as parents to help them out. And parents who do not expose their children to these ideologies are perfectly within their rights to affect their own homes. While by the grace and mercy of God, my husband and I were able to school our children from the conflict and service in summer time schools, I ask that you quickly provide for you to church, so as not to expose other children to this potentially destructive effect it will have on their minds and health. Thank you.
Lynn Baker.
Hi, I'm Lynn Baker. I live at 754 Greenfield Lane, Diamond Springs. And I'm here to talk about keeping away from my sunshine on the Leverage Hill. I'm a parent of two boys who attended Schaefer Middle School and Gallatin High School. And we had come from Mecklenburg County in North Carolina, which is a very diverse school system. So I was very happy to see that when we came here to Tennessee, my sons were in two schools that were equally diverse to what we had experienced. My sons are now 19 and 23, and they have shared with me how they appreciate, the experience that they've had. When they're out in the world, they're used to being around people who aren't exactly like them. Which, certain places they go, that's what they see, but that's not what they experienced when they were in school. I'm also an educator. I have a doctorate in education with an emphasis in literacy. And there is research that shows that students who feel a sense of inclusivity, it correlates with their success. And inclusivity comes from a sense of belonging. It's up to the educational institution to promote that inclusivity. The belonging comes from the student. So as educators, as people who are charged with this responsibility, one of the ways that we know that students can grow in their academics is through literacy. And that literacy allows students to experience people and places and things, beyond just what they know, what's in their direct home. So the belonging comes from a sense of feeling included. What can we do to make sure those kids feel a sense of belonging? And is it not going to come from students seeing themselves on the cover of a book? See, if maybe they don't have that, maybe, an assumption even to make that because that's a brown student on the cover of that book, that student here in a school in Sumner County is going to have the same experience as Ryan does. Maybe she doesn't. Well, maybe there could be any number of students who are going to read the book and have a sense of empathy for a child that has an experience different from themselves. This is our responsibility as parents, as educators, as people who are going to make the decision about what books are on the library shelf. And that's why, we can certainly say if somebody wants their child to read the book, they can go buy it. And they certainly can, but it needs to be in the library because that's part of what the school system is meant to do. So, that's essentially, reading about people that are like us, reading about people that are not like us. This is how we learn about our world. And so that's, thinking about what message we make to our students, to our black and brown students, to our white students. If we pull a book that represents a certain population. And so that's really what we're asking you all to consider, to not do that, and to keep this book and books like it available to all students so they can use the educational opportunity they have in our schools. Thanks.
Carolina Oliver, I was a one-year student with the South Tennessee Center I was talking about, I just might want to comment about the director qualifications, and I know that there's been some chatter about whether doctors should be required. I would like to see that 10% of the community thought that a doctor should be required, because there's only 2% of the general population that has a doctorate, and usually people don't understand the value of education unless they achieved it. As someone who's undergoing a doctorate, I can tell you, and especially since my third time more limited lately, it is incredibly difficult to do it. You have to do research on all different types of opinions. You have to show reading comprehensive at a higher level. You have to show statistical analysis and then come up with a conclusion. So I do see a lot of educators who don't have doctorates who are very qualified and have shown a lot of success. But I do hope that you will consider that a doctorate is the highest terminal degree that you can get, and that we would want our children to be able to see our leadership have that. And then, and highly recommend a writing sample, and preferably in research, so then you can see how they are communicating. People is one thing, but then also be able to communicate is another. I'd also like to talk about policy 4.403. I echo the first public commenter's communication. I think that students should be involved. I think something that has slipped through the cracks is that, in statute, Tennessee Code Annotated 49.63803B3, it talks about reviewing all the materials, and there are more than 399,000 materials. That's about 200 library materials per teacher. That's not going to happen overnight. If you're going to be able to do a review, that's going to review the materials for what the community and the state is probably expecting to have. You guys will probably need to get into systems if you are use the existing systems to be able to comments in there so you're not doing rework, and there will need to be extra resources to that, which may affect the budget. Another thing is about 3803B2, it talks about the feedback generally. Everybody has been focused on complaint process, but it only mentions feedback, and that the board would review feedback from the feedback about the material pursuant to B2. So I understand why there's been some confusion about this, but to the first commenter's point, that if they're able to challenge books, why aren't they able to win the book? Especially if a book is being challenged. If a book was being challenged that I really like, I would want to be able to put my 2 cents in as to why I think it should stay. And I do hope that you'll consider that even at the school level, whenever you're doing their review materials on an annual basis or whatever period works, because I don't know if that's going to happen on an annual basis in the beginning. And then I would like to talk about ways to make fun time. I'm coming at this as a different perspective, because I grew up in lower income than actually the person in this book, the main character in this book, and I found this book to be endearing. I did not think of the race really at all throughout it at all. And to Mr. Shepard's comment about APA's internet, web, and website were capitalized in the APA till 2016 because it was replaced. So we can throw common sense out the door whenever we're talking about rules for proofreading. And Junie P. Jones, those books have really terrible grammar because you're trying to relate to 5-year-olds and it drives me crazy. And I have read the chapters in my file, I correct the grammar. I just tell her I'm reading differently because I think it should be good grammar. So I understand those problems, but I would recommend that you consider those in placements and transition engineering. I hope that if y'all have daughters, that you have them read it. Thank you. I hope you'll please get on that.
Sheriff Myers. Chairman Myers, the record,
Thank you. Sarah White, 434, Chesapeake Harbor, Hendersonville. First, let me extend condolences to all of you and to Sumner County School families for the loss of Miss Brown. I actually believe she commented in the first meeting this year that she didn't want to spend her life on the school board banning books. So I'm saddened that once again we stand up here before you begging to keep a book in our school system. I read Ways to Make Sunshine, and like Charlena, I identified with Ryan's story as the daughter of a single mom who struggled with everything. I remember the embarrassment of being dropped off in a two-door gold Nova car, orange, because that was all we could afford. When the SUVs were making their way into the scene, and how terrible I felt. And it wasn't self-pity, it was just being different. It was just about being different and wrestling with those feelings. Brian is a delightful girl. Her name means king, and she reflects on how that means she is meant to be a leader. Her parents tell her and her brother to be who we named you to be. She's an aspiring chef. She enjoys time with her friends and family. She goes to church regularly. She's athletic, adventurous, creative. And again, as I mentioned, she and her family are facing some trials. A parent who's lost a job. An unexpected move. I can't imagine how many kids are going to be dealing with that this year in our school. She struggles with her appearance, as many middle school kids do. I wore braces for about 11 years because I didn't like the way that I looked. Her grandmother reminds her that her worth is in how she treats people. So, Brian's story is very similar to, I think, a lot of what our kids might be experiencing. I'm going to end with some remarks from the author, but before I do, 2 quick comments about the review policy. I do wish that you guys would consider posting the challenges in the review process publicly for us to see. Our kids, my kids, visit the school library every week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. And if there's a book being challenged, I'd really like to be informed of that. You could post it on the school website. It's helpful to read comments. Because again, I want to keep it open mind. I want to understand the perspective of some of these parents. Because there may be something at the point that I look sideways at. I would really like for that to be part of the public consideration. And again, to Julia's point, so that the students can see. I also have concerns about the composition of the ad hoc committee. I believe it specifies that 3 members must be a parent, a teacher, or administrator, and that leaves 2 other members that could just be people from, I guess, the community. I think that needs to be specific. I would appreciate that the people who are deciding the fate of the materials that librarians who spent 6 years in school, some with 2 decades of experience, picking these materials, that the 5 people that decide the fate of those books before you guys get to review them have some vested interest in our school system. That's just very important to me. I'm going to leave you with a few words from the author. She's an education artist, is what she calls herself. She goes around the school system and teaches students about poetry and writing. She says, I try to see my students. I encourage them to embrace all parts of their culture. Black may be a race, but it is also a culture. We capitalize culture. I have a culture. I may be white, but I have a culture. I'm Irish. I'm Scottish. There's history there. I encourage them to see all parts of their culture, where they come from, what they eat, the music they enjoy, the joyous and disastrous part of their neighborhood and family. We all have that. Doesn't matter the race. I strive to learn their individual and collective histories. I share my stories with them, and we grow and heal together. We laugh at ourselves for sometimes being stereotyped, but we proudly proclaim that we are more than a stereotype. We commit to sharing our true selves, and we commit to seeing each other. Our kids deserve to see themselves in the books in their library.
Thank you, Bert. Joanne Davis. Name Richard, and
Hi there, my name is Joanna Daniels, and 152 North Shadowhaven Way, Hendersonville. I'm here to talk about healing, or in this way to make sunshine, and this book should not be in the school. First of all, we need to decide what is the school here for. The school is here to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. It is not here to be, social emotional, support for the children. It is not here to teach them morals. It is not here to teach them how to be social justice warriors or activists. That is the parent's job. It is the parent's job to teach morals and convictions. We are just here to teach reading, writing, arithmetic, and the laws of the land. That's it. Once we go over that, then you're into territory that is not deemed your territory anymore. You're not here to teach kids about any of that. So you have to set boundaries and you have to keep to them. This book does not belong in a school library. It has things in it that is controversial, such as B for Black being capitalized, and that is something that is not accepted worldwide or in America. Also, the comment that a neighborhood is too white by the father. That is not right. And that was never rectified by the father in this book. So those are two things. Now, if you switched it, it would not be right. There would be an uproar if W was capitalized, and if the parent said that neighborhood is too Black for you to go into, there would be an uproar here. Get this book out. So, if there is any type of debate, or you can switch it, and it is wrong, I don't care if 98% of the book is good. It is that 2% that is wrong. You would not allow something with 2% that said the Ku Klux Klan was good in any which way. So don't allow anything that is anything saying that anything is good. You don't let it in at all. None of it. The author uses her, this is the author. This is an interview. You're an activist as well as an author. As you state on your website, one of your passions is using the arts to help youth cope with trauma and discuss social issues. Do you think the most recent Black Lives Matter protests across the country and the national conversation about racial injustices in America will change children's book publishing for the better? This is the response on some of the new initiatives that are happening. Don't allow an author to use the school library to use her, to push her agenda. She is saying to use her children's publishing to push this agenda right here. So, as the school library should not be used by any agenda. I don't care what agenda it is. And so the school is to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic in the laws of the land. It should not be used by anybody's agenda, whether I agree with that agenda or not. And I really believe that we're using the schools to do this. And then also, lastly, the CSBA and for qualifications. My only thing is that there was a recommendation that they be a high school principal. Well, according to the law, third grade is the most important right now. And proficiency in third grade is what determines the future of any child. So, in my opinion, you should be focusing on making sure that the new director of schools really focuses in on elementary, because I guess elementary determines how they're even going to be in school. So, in my opinion, let's focus on elementary. Thank you.
Mr. Name, I apologize.
Fox like Fox and Fox.
Okay. I won't let you name this for the record, and that's not here, people who did right.
Evening, Chairman and Member of the Board. My name is Jim Fox. I live in Board. I'm here tonight to speak in support of keeping those in the sunshine across the line. The books in our library available for our children are not just for purposes of learning the mechanics of reading.
the words on the page. More importantly, they're there for the ideas in those books, the perspectives they bring, our children's ability to expand their minds, inform themselves about the world around them, and become thinking, engaged members of society. Not mere atomic bombs, trained to go through life espousing the limited opinions and perspectives set for them by the adults guiding them in their youth. In other words, books are the gateway to ideas that create those independent, thinking, engaged members of our society. That is why the Supreme Court has made clear that the First Amendment protects the students' right to access libraries. And why banning them is always prohibited under our Constitution. Books cannot be banned just because the subject may be uncomfortable or express ideas and feelings we don't want to deal with. In Board of Education versus PICO, Justice Brennan wrote, the right to receive ideas is a necessary predicate to the recipient's meaningful exercise of his own right of speech, press, and political freedom. In our system, students may not be regarded as closed-circuit recipients of only that which the state chooses to use. School officials cannot suppress expressions of feelings with which they not wish to consent. Well, after reading Ways to Make Sunshine myself this month, the idea of books being both a mirror and a window for our children seems so important. Here's a book with a character in the spirit of Ramona Quimby, provided from the experience and perspective of a young black man, providing important perspective on both experiences kids all kinds go through, as well as some kinds that kids who don't look like her never have to experience. Thereby giving readers of all kinds both a mirror and a window to learn, grow, and understand. We all deserve the opportunity, both to see ourselves mirrored in what we read, and to see through a window into the experience of others, different from our own. As I read the book, I realized it would have given me both a mirror and a window of my own as a kid. The main character is a young black girl named Lauren. Not a boy's name, but she makes it clear. She says simply, my name. Not only is it her name, but the name means king or leader. The name that comes from Ireland, as of my father. Ryan would have given me the window to see the experiences of a young black girl in the Pacific Northwest, which were different from my own, growing up at that age, in the same region. While at the same time, giving me a mirror into my own family. My great-great-grandmother was sent to America from Ireland on a boat by her mother in the 1870s. I didn't know her, but I'm told she was an independent and outspoken woman for her time, not unlike Ryan in this story. I did know her son, though. My great-grandfather was what they called Black Irish. He had a darker complexion than stereotypical pale Irishman, with dark hair and brown eyes. Everyone else in our family had blue eyes, and he always longed for a grandchild with brown eyes through which he could see himself mirrored in the legacy he was leaving the world. He never got to see that, however. We all knew about the blue eyes. But it isn't until my children looked at me, with their own beautiful brown eyes and dark hair. I'm sure that my great-grandfather was looking down, smiling at his brown eyes mirrored back at him, and also smiling that kids of all different backgrounds and appearances can now see themselves mirrored in the books they read. Books like Ways to Make Sunshine. He would ask you to keep that book in our library, and I do the same tonight. Thank you.
Good stuff. Megan Britt.
Hello, it's Megan Koenig, 171 Windrush Street, Finishdale, Tennessee. Nice to see you all again. Wish I wasn't here. I want to first suggest that we shouldn't be here talking about this book tonight. This is a waste of all of our time. We don't want to be here talking about this book. 2% of this one week's book does not constitute this lack of respect for your time and for the community's time. Oh, yeah, here, so I'm gonna talk about it. Want to express my hope that you'll choose to keep this book. I think from those of you who responded to me, you will choose that. I have read this book and the full complaint and find the town faithless, and ignorant. The challenge to the school level alone was a serious waste of resources and time, but to bring it to the board level is a egregious. My 10-year-old daughter read this book with me after it was challenged, and that's what this challenge process is doing. So it's a small book. And she asked me to specifically let you know that she had started the book and was really surprised. That's her word. Really surprised that anyone would think that it should be in the school library. My younger daughter has a name that is traditionally considered a boy's name. Trust me, she has no gender confusion. But unfortunately, we know that in this complaint that they think that having a traditional boy's name has to mean that it isn't traditional, causes gender confusion. That is, again, egregious. As a parent, once again, I should be responsible for deciding if content is appropriate for my child to read in school as soon as that's possible. I should never be responsible for deciding if your child should read this book, and I'm not asking you to. I'm asking that you don't be responsible for me and my child. Additionally, I'd like to ask that in light of this egregious waste of time, that the board would consider some additional ground rules in place for these challenges. For example, if a parent does not actively have a child in some of the county schools, then the challenge should be not acknowledged and not appealed, as in this situation. Additionally, I believe we should have requirements to move past the recommendation of the review committee. So, for example, possibly having more than one parent need to sign on for an appeal to come to the board level, and to waste more of the community time. I would also like to just take a minute and say that we, as a community, need to be better than this process. And I recognize that the state has not yet put out guidance, and I'm asking you to also patiently wait for that guidance before we put too much work and too much into place. But know that while every parent has the right to determine what their child needs, every parent does not have the right to cost all of you the time and energy that it is taken, and all of us the time and energy that it is taking to come up with these challenges time and time again. There needs to be a baseline. I would also like to address the agenda item regarding public comments at board meetings. I know that I think it could be. Okay. Thank you. And then I would just also like to ask that as you consider this book, that you make sure that you look in your school library, other your districts, and if it's not there, buy a copy or ask someone else to do that. Thank you.
That's good for some comments. Next time on the agenda is executive session. We'll have executive session. We'll have comments from the attorney. We'll reserve rights to come back to reports for the record here at the community. The next item on the agenda is discussion rights regarding TSC director service qualifications. Mr. Chairman, I have a motion that I would like to present in this matter, and I have, having gone through the last director search, I have remembered instances and so forth. I just think that this motion kind of covers everything that we are looking for. And I want to make a motion to set the criteria requiring a doctorate degree with experience as a teacher, principal, and senior administrative leadership. Compensation commensurate with degrees and experience. A motion to set criteria requiring a doctorate degree with experience as a teacher, principal, and senior administrative leadership. Compensation commensurate with degrees and experience. Hang, I think that was always in there, anyway, hang. Yeah, and that's under leadership. And, and that's probably leadership, yes.
Yeah, I disagree. We're gonna be limiting our pool of candidates quite substantially if we do that. I want to remind the board that, you know, our online survey, the last item that people cared about was the last thing they learned was having a doctor. Some of the names that were put forth as, for recommendations in that survey, don't have a doctorate, they have a DES. I believe that, that level of coursework is perfectly sufficient, for them to be considered as a candidate. I think limiting to a doctorate, first, I don't know why we would do that. I'm not as interested in what research they've done, what papers they've written, what journals they've contributed to. I'm more interested in what they've done in the field, what their experience is. I've got a master's degree, and I mean, it's fine, but I think it makes me more qualified in some areas. So I would be more interested in what they do, what they've done, what's their experience, what's their history. I do think having a master's and above is probably sufficient. But to limit this to a doctorate, I think it betrays what our public input has already outlined for us. It's dead last. 1 through 20. Number 20 is whether there's a doctorate. Nobody cares about that. They don't. They really, that's the last thing. Okay, for us to mandate that there be a doctorate as part of it as a requirement, I think that betrays the public trust. I don't think they want that. In fact, I know that. I don't think they would have said, "Oh, we want a doctorate as a top priority," and that is not one of the top priorities. I think we're missing out on some good candidates by doing that. Maybe that's the design. Maybe it's by design. Maybe if we make it a doctorate, then we're going to intentionally keep some people from applying. And I don't know if that's true, but it sounds suspicious to me. I think we should keep it maybe master's and above. And that's my 2 cents. I would vote no on any amendment to make a doctorate a requirement. Thank you.
I'm more concerned, I think we should be fine with our early doctorate, require doctorate, but the word "and" that we're have teaching experience, principal experience, work administrative experience, I think quite often good limits our physical, simple candidates that people have made use of our principles throughout the district. I don't know if they have all 3 of those, but they do have some teachers and principals. Well, I do agree with the motion, for several reasons. Number one, we have several students with several people who do have their doctorate degree. And I do not feel like a director of schools should feel inferior to the degrees that some of our teachers, administrators, students do have. I know one school in my area has 5 or 6, I believe, with doctorate degree, and within a year or more. So that's one thing. Another thing. every department. If you look over across the lake here, we see different department heads, over here we see different department heads. The director of schools must be well prepared for each one of those areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to, let me use it. Okay.
Well, I don't know, I wasn't watching, but these two, I'm afraid we're off Mr. Gregory's comment. I think we have about 85 doctors in our county. Is that what anybody thinks? And by design, our school district has afforded this opportunity because we're in the business of education. So we want to promote that our administrators, other leadership, they were pursuing their doctorate. And one of these folks who has a doctorate, the skill set that you have to have, the discipline, the persistence, all the skills to do the doctorate would be extremely valuable for a director of a school. The director needs to have that highest degree. It represents more than a DR. I mean, they are ready, and they are skilled, and they are prepared. The experience is extremely important in the classroom, the administrator at the school, being in the district office, the central office. There are so many moving parts to this. If you have not been boots on the ground doing this thing, you're going to be blindsided when you step into a position like this. We are the largest employer in the county. Our budget, what was it written? It's up to $300 million, 291 something. This is a business with lots of people that you are managing. The department head. I want the best of the best. And I think it would be important. I think that although mentioned the having the writing, or I'm getting everybody mixed up. I tried to make notes, but the communication skills are so important. There's the verbal and the listening. There's your writing skills. I want the exemplary director qualification, the best of the best. If we don't set the bar there, we're just opening it up for, and we better get on this because we're already behind the clock. Our pool of opportunity for candidates is going to be limited. We have to get this person in place before our call session. That's imperative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This board is obligated to the current and future students of this county to find the absolute best director from anywhere in this country. We're obligated to do that. We're not obligated to set criteria based on results of the survey that we don't know who filled out. We don't know if there's other candidates. We don't know if one person filled out 10 of them. We don't know. And the public is not going to look at those surveys and say, okay, those survey responders selected the wrong director. You know who they're going to look at? They'll stand in front of the mirror and they'll answer your question. Because we who they're going to look at. But my main point is, we are obligated to the current and future students, children, who depend on us to make the right decisions for them, because they're not in a position to make those decisions. They depend on us to
to make those decisions. Therefore, it is paramount that we find the absolute most qualified, best director for this school system. Thank you. And the motion is as written. Thank you.
District one says we don't move quickly, we can lose candidates, or full of candidates to shrink them. So why would we want to shrink our candidates from, say, a master's, should just a doctorate? Do we know a doctorate who apply for this position? Do we know of any doctors that promise that they would apply for this position? So I don't think we're limiting ourselves. Just because somebody has a doctorate doesn't mean they're the best. If you just pick somebody random off the street that had a doctorate, could they step right in and run our school? I don't think so. But maybe a principal in the community or somebody that's working in central office that has a master's that's excellent, but they may not have a doctorate, can do exceptionally well being a director of school. I know the least important thing on the survey, how many people did our survey? Does anybody remember? 2,800, and it was absolutely the least important thing is that a person has a doctorate. So I'm not for that, and I move that we remove doctorate and put masters and put or. Yes, sir.
Second. Ms. Gay, discussion on the amendment. Turn it on. Okay.
Yeah, I just think that we should listen to the survey results, because these are the people that have vested interest in our schools. They took the time to take the survey, and this is what they said. And are we just going to throw that out? They said having a doctorate is the least important thing that they care about. That's what they said. And so, why do we even have the survey if we don't care what the public thinks? Secondly, there are plenty of successful superintendents, director of schools that are out there that don't have a doctorate. And I think they're adults and they're professional enough to not be intimidated by somebody else who has a doctorate. I don't think that's just silly. To think that I'm gonna walk into a position, and because my colleague across the hall has a doctorate, that I'm intimidated by that. Look, having a PhD, has anyone read Dr. Phillips' dissertation? Anybody? Somebody? Have you read Dr. Phillips' dissertation? Have you read Dr. Langford's dissertation? Anybody? He just got his doctorate. Has anybody read his dissertation?
No, but his committee did.
That's why they were. I mean, I don't like that.
Why did you ask him?
So,
I mean, I did. I thought you were asking.
Again, point one here, the Bible will be silent, we'll clear the rain.
Oh, okay. I thought he was
The Bible will be
asking.
silent, we'll clear the rain.
So you guys are
You're asking a question that.
Okay. You're right. I apologize. So, yeah, okay, I'll open it up. My apologies. Has anyone read the dissertation?
You're not the asking the press. You're that free, John.
Okay.
You're asking for the person that's fine, but don't expect an answer.
Okay, I won't expect the answer. I'm going to just speculate that no one has read Dr. Phillips' dissertation and no one has read Dr. Langford's dissertation. I've not read it. People aren't out there reading these dissertations, and you spend years doing the research for these dissertations, and to get a PhD. It's usually on a single topic, some kind of research topic that you're doing. When you're a director of schools, there's a lot of moving parts. Okay, your thesis, your dissertation, does not, most of the time, it does not even apply to half of what your responsibilities are going to be as a director of schools. Okay? So, again, I don't think that having a doctorate should be a requirement. I think we can say preferred, I think we can say either or. And again, I just wanna go back, I mean, the last thing on the list. The last thing, thank you.
No other discussion, we'll call the vote. Oh, I'm sorry, you say.
This is posted. Max. 2,000 acres, it was on that survey. That would be about less than 2% of our school system expansion. Their bond in the. And the population of Sumner County is 205. It's 557 million people. So.
No, I'm not, I'm seriously doubt we have candidates seriously considered. I'm still up on the required. It's like that, we're definitely amendment, which is part of it. It's not, so you're asking, I know that it's either remove doctorate from the office. So, you said you want to remove doctorate, so asking, that's what it is. This Johnson, you said the rest.
I was asking Mr. White to clarify, because I didn't understand the part.
You have to remove doctorate, add masters, then to remove man, and put order in. That's what it is. That's fine. I say, the biggest thing is talking to teachers, you know, not position. Big thing, and I hear from is great, but not getting in the class. This is so much has changed that feel more comfortable with someone who has and either a teacher or a person of that view of our world education changed so much. If we want to do this, required to the person to the principal.
This item. Ms. Wayne, Ms. Andrews? Ms. King? Ms. Hall? Ms. Daniels? No. Ms. White? No. Ms. Gregory? No. Ms. White? Yes. Chairman Brewer? No. Vote passed.
We'll go back to the motion.
Yeah, so, the large cohort, we have another large cohort currently going through, we have a cohort of, teachers working on their masters. So I think it's just good for reception, to have that person that has their doctorate. So I do agree with that. I agree with Mr. Lancaster as far as the wording, of it saying teacher, principal, and senior level administrator. I think to require all of that together, you know, if somebody has doctorate in the classroom, or doesn't make skip, you know, a level or so forth, or maybe, you know, they're a principal and photography. So, I don't like having that claim particularly in there. However, this is a large district. We are one of the largest districts in the state of Tennessee. So I do feel like having administrative experience is necessary. So, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, there are a lot of things that happen on a day in and day out basis that absolutely zero disrespect for our faculty. That's not saying that the
in any capacity whatsoever. But it is different being going from a classroom to even being a principal in this to run a district. So, what I would like to implement, because I do think that this process, having the teaching experience, is important. Having an educator like Ryan when the process was very good across Phyllis, that, and it wasn't necessarily something they were looking for, that they were looking for something different. Or I believe that's what Colin understood, that even if the CEO of the company and so forth, well, I think this is different now, from where we were. And like things are happening right now in education. I do feel like the person who is our next director needs to have a firm foundation in education. So what I would like to put in is to have the doctorate, have a teaching license, and have upper level administration experience.
Ms. Might like to change her wording. We can change the wording, or we could go through the process of voting and accepting it. I'm sorry. I'm talking to you. If you amend the motion to her verbiage, then we would be voting on the main motion. If you don't want to amend that, then we need to vote on it. Give it a second. You made the vote,
For requirements, we have a doctorate, a teaching license, and upper level administration experience.
Can you decide upper level of administrative experience?
No, that's the question.
I mean, I think that's to be principal, someone in technical school, someone who has worked, in the office of roles. I think that out to collegiate type of, environment. Someone who has to have the responsibility of administration and in a large time.
I think I'm part of that thing that we're not recommending. I think I'm part of that. It's not very strong, you can do it as a person. Rather than go through the voting process and her amendment, you agree to amend the motion to match her. Motion to set criteria requiring a doctorate degree with a teacher's license and upper level management, upper level administration experience.
Mr. Gregory, does Mr. Gregory agree with the second? Change the language.
I have a little problem with the language. That, in my opinion, that needs to be district-wide administration. District-wide. There's a different vision. There is a different vision on the front of the office until an office district-wide, especially in county archives. We have 61 schools now, 62, another year, 63, another year. There's a big difference in vision. And that's where it's conflict needs to be district-wide.
There, but you would agree to district-wide. So that's the fight to you, and that's the fight to the person.
the person that, we work it out between those two, and we get the same results rather than into this. So I think we're going to, are we discussing the amendment we're negotiating right now?
I think when you say district-wide, you limit your applicants to those who have worked in a school system. K-12 school system. We may have the president of Notre Dame University want this job. We may have the president of Vanderbilt University want this job. I started to mention Eugene, but you changed my name. So I have a little problem with district-wide and connotation of district-wide. I would prefer to leave it, though I understand that Mr. Gregory is trying to get through that, I understand that. I think I would prefer to leave the adjustment to the wording that Ms. Andrews stated a few minutes ago. And here's something else that we need to bear in mind. No matter the qualifications, we're going to have candidates, and we're going to select one. Whether they have a district-wide leadership experience or senior administrative leadership, we're going to pick the next director, the one that the majority of the board thinks is the best candidate. Maybe we can one of those, but strong in another. So this is not the end all. Okay? We're setting guidelines. In other words, I can move from here to here. Well, those are the guidelines. So I can move anywhere in here that I'd like to move. Okay? But the guideline says don't go beyond here because this officer's going to really like me short over there. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that these are not suggestions, but they are strong statements. They're guidelines. They're not the be-all, end-all kind of thing. So I would be more comfortable with just Andrew's adjustment to it. No offense, Mr. Greer, but then Mr. Gregory. I think that's really squeezing a lot of I think that putting our candidate field too much.
So what we're trying to get to here is you make an amendment to your motion. If you agree to that amendment and the second to agree to the amendment, then we just move to the vote with the new language on it. If we're not agreeing with it, if we don't get the second to agree with it, then her motion is going to be a second, and then we'll discuss that and we'll vote on the motion. So are we saying that we're agreeing with her, and then we get the second, the person that's second?
I don't want to be on because so I want to be an amendment to the motion and we're not on that amendment. But I'm going to ask, can we take a 5-minute break? My eyeballs are closed. Let's finish this. Right, well, okay.
We'll go there. So we couldn't get, it didn't work out, so you made the amendment, so if you would set your amendment.
That's serious. That is not good. He's not that.
Motion and second. I'm sorry, Ms. Hayes, discussion.
I have a question. I'm an additional taxable learner, and I'm listening to state the difference. What is the two words, what's the difference in your proposed and the amendment to that? Just give me the bullet. Okay.
And this one is breaking down, not great.
The verbiage. So we're aiming for the same. That's pretty good.
Any further discussion? Ms. Hawkins?
Has to be clear, understand what Cumberland management is.
Edwards?
In St. Lawrence or in, principal position?
Principal did walk this, leave it, so overall would be principal.
We've got a motion and a second. Ms. Lyons?
I have a question on the amendment, correct? We're on the amendment, correct? Did I just hear you say that if a principal has a doctorate degree, though they have no central office or senior management, senior administration leadership, other than being the principal of their school, that they meet the qualifications? Is that what I hear you say?
Would be considered.
If we're going to,
We want to change that so that it is, clarified.
if we're going to, we're going to change the verbiage to allow a principal who has not had central office or senior administrative leadership experience, then we may as well take that part out and just leave it at principal. But I'm not comfortable with changing my motion to remove and senior administrative leadership, because there's a vast difference in running a school and running a school system. That's different. So because of that, I firmly believe we need to leave the words and senior administrative leadership in the motion.
Would you, we clarify senior administrative to be more than a principal?
Yes. Let's say, for example, let's say that Sumner County was divided into 4 areas, okay? And we call them subzones of Sumner County school system. And we just ran a line from south to north of the county, middle of the county, right straight up through there to the Kentucky border. And we came halfway down from the state line and on the east side, and we ran a line straight across the border, all right? Up there where White House is, that's subzone 1, but we're always number 1. We're always number 1. So, subzone 1, subzone 2, subzone 3, and Portland, subzone 4, okay? Anyway, if I were a principal and I had an opportunity to be the assistant director for subzone 1, then that gives me that senior administrative leadership experience. kind of the picture I'm trying to paint. Cool? I did a good job, thank you.
Like, and it's just, let me reiterate, every time I got a little confused, we're discussing the motion, that,
So, District Four, you changed your motion, it's still fine, as it was previously.
she made it. We didn't get the negotiation worked out to where the first, motion and the second, would agree to that, so she made the official motion. We had it be seconded, and that seconded, so we're in discussion on that particular motion.
I would like to amend the amendment to put, doctors preferred.
We have to agree to amend her motion to do that. She has to agree to that. We have to vote on these.
Oh, you have to vote.
She has to agree to amend her motion. Ms. Lancaster has to agree to second, did we discuss that?
Would the nation consider that?
That was my friend, I mean, that's, evening when we put out there saying doctor preferred, you know what I mean? I understand, I just do like, or this language, and I think that's.
So the amendment fails because she did not agree to that. So we're back to the amendment that we're talking about. Do we have any other discussion on that? If not, we'll go back to the amendment. Can you get us clear on what we're voting on?
Yeah, and I'll let the neighbors correct me if I've got it wrong. Most of the set the criteria requiring a doctorate degree with teaching license and upper level administration experience.
That is correct with this one. Or upper level administration.
Okay, so Mr. White's definition was, just make sure I'm clear. Beyond
Okay. Another question, if I were the assistant director for zone one up in White House,
Before you do all that, we're trying to get it written, that definition written down from the motion, and you just say what upper level. Your definition of upper level.
beyond school person.
So we say with experience being with an upper level administration experience being defined as beyond a 4 month.
Beyond school person.
Like, do we have any, people, doctors in our school system that has that upper level? I thought we were trying to get a pool of candidates. Sounds like we're trying to dwindle this down. So I tried to get one.
We're trying to get a vote on the motion right now, Mr. Blake.
I got a question. So, just for clarification, this amendment rules out any principals?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
That's great.
If I don't have any experience above doing that school person.
Okay, what if okay. I find that really, limiting candidates, because some principals are just beloved in the community. And, many believe that some of these guys are qualified and, would do a great job. And I think it's only fair that we give them a hearing. You know, I mean, why would we want to do it? It just seems malicious to me. That we have some folks in our community that are not, they're principals, they have postmasters work, not a full doctorate, years of experience, loved by their teachers, loved by their students, and we're gonna deny them an opportunity to apply for this job. I say we give them a shot, and if, in the interview, if they don't cut it, we don't have to hire them, but why not give them a chance? So, I'm gonna be a no on this amendment, because I think that's just unfair.
I'm just going to use the principal at Gallatin High School. He has a doctorate. He does exceptionally well. And you're saying he's not qualified to be our district superintendent. That's just crazy. He does an exceptionally good job. In a difficult school, he does an exceptionally good job. But we're choosing to ignore our community, that a doctorate is the least important thing, and that's what we're arguing about most. I would love to ask you to please reconsider and make a doctorate preferred to go back to a master's. Because what are we saying to our principals? We might as well leave the school system, go to some other school system that appreciates me. At least give them some encouragement that I can work hard and I can move up, and maybe I can be the director of school someday. But if I was a principal outside of this county, why would I want to come to this county and have a dream of moving up and being successful?
Yes, Chairman Miller, again, I just say, we have to set the criteria at the top. We want the best of the best. I love Mr. Cox. He's a phenomenal person. He's in my district, District 1, HHS, President. But Bob would have a difficult time stepping in. I'm maybe 60. Running a school is totally different than running a district of 30,000 students, families represented. Like I said, there are so many moving parts in it. We've come so far. And to have, to not have that director of school that has that experience running so many moving parts, to step into this. Now, I don't want to go back. I want it to be a year, this woman, maybe, director of school, gentleman, is going to step into this position and just be blindsided. No. We're going to set the criteria at the very top. Not saying that you probably wouldn't do a great job. It is low. But the skill set from a school principal to a county district wide as massive as ours is. Now, I think you have had to have that experience as a single district and a software. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, Mr. Lacy, I am the author of this motion. And for you to sit there and call it crazy is extremely offensive. Extremely offensive.
We don't back the up with this. We don't call them out the name.
We don't. That's correct. That's why I expect an apology from Mr. Lacy calling the motion that I authored crazy. That is extremely offensive, and I won't have any more of it.
On that order, yes, sir. That is, he won't be that forward.
Yes. I firmly believe, because I have put in hours and hours and hours of thought and recollections from when we went through this 12 years ago, 13 years ago, whatever it was. And yes, it may not be fair to every possible candidate. It may not be. But if you don't have a doctor's degree, go to Giles County. Maybe they don't require that. If you don't have senior administrative leadership, go to some other Blunt County. Maybe they don't require that. We want the best because we are obligated to the current and future students of our school system to get the absolute best thing.
That's this way. So a doctor means we're getting the best. And we have a principal that was in the top 3 that people recommended to be our next director of schools. He is not fit for their standards. He is not fit for the duty of director of our schools. We're limiting the best in our county to be even a candidate for director of schools. The only person in the school system that qualifies for these guidelines is Scott Lincoln. But we might as well just give him the job today.
Just let even them call out administrative figures.
He's the only person that has the qualifications for what we're fixing to pass. The director of Williamson County only has a law degree. He doesn't have a doctorate. But we deserve, I guess, better than every other county in the state of Tennessee. And I did say, my wife's still on. And I didn't insult him, but I said, tell all of our principals in this county that have a doctorate that they're not qualified because they've not worked in this office. It's crazy. What is that saying to our principals that come to work, do their job every day, and do their best for our kids? We all go to work every day and hope that we can move up and be successful and get promotions. And we're telling our principals the only thing you're ever going to be in this county is a principal.
Legislature for, point of order, let's have our minds pulled out a little bit here and get back on the motion that is here to accept the motion. And so, talk about the amendments. So, we're ready to vote for the amendment, and Mr. Johnson, is there any amendment, please?
Yes, sir. Motion is to set the criteria requiring a doctorate degree with teaching license, overall administration experience being defined as beyond school. And that is as defined being with upper level administration experience being defined as beyond school. Ms. Lancaster. Ms. Avery. Ms. King. Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Ms. Davis. Yes. Ms. White.
No.
Ms. Green. Ms. Layton.
No.
Kevin Burke.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion carries. We're back to the, main motion now. Carries. Motion carries. Yes. Motion carries. And, we're back to the main motion now. Mr. Johnson, will you read the main motion? Second to the vote.
Yes, sir. So the motion, we have amended, the motion is now to set the criteria requiring a doctorate degree with a teaching license and an upper level administration experience being defined as beyond school principal. That. So by this motion, you change the requirement to your requirement. The main motion on the floor then is you are setting the criteria as requiring a doctorate degree with a teaching license and upper level administration experience, which is defined as beyond school. That's the Avery. Ms. Lancaster. Ms. Andrews. Ms. King.
No.
Ms. Hawkins. Yes. Ms. James.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Ms. Lacey.
No.
Jerry Burke.
Yes.
Motion carried.
She said, we're coming from Dover. We're getting a lot of it, right? We'll be back in 5 minutes. You ready for it?
I'm nervous and I hope. Let you know. What's that? Commissioner, we'll make that. Just like that. Get everything. Get them. Yeah. The office. The name. Yes. The wife. Yes. The treasure. Yes. The wife. Yes. Jennifer. Yes. Most of this anyway. This time on the agenda, discussion of action regarding the deal to the renovation, still not to the entire plan. Yeah, this is, one of the projects that we've not been planning to do. So the funds for this project, were included in this year's budget and halfway. It's just kind of continuation of the project that we hired with and stuff. It's just not, obviously there's only going to be county that hasn't been updated or renovated that we've gone through that process. So it's kind of the last one. This really, I know we did that work with, Tyler, and the science teachers, they're all looking forward to it, and we got scheduled, Tyler to do that work, during this moment, so hopefully you'll approve this, and we'll be able to get that work planned and started, through the school now. And I think it will take the contract that they're working on and figure out a way to make it, functionally, we do this all the time, but, so the school opens at sometimes last minute, not all, and then by, in the fall break, we'll have all of it. Thinking that this one, that works in college. Hopefully you'll approve it. That's what to do nothing. Nothing cost us. Still off the page. We're glad that. The neighbors, the tenants, yeah. The office, the tenants, yeah. The wife, yeah. The grave, yeah. The lady, yeah. Yes. That's on the agenda, discussion of action regarding naming the union government facility and then the school library after really about discussion of the if this is certain water, I'm supposed to do the favor of the first 14 numerous times. Now, the agreement with the district government says water serving each of this county demonstrates the community. I can think of a better person to receive the refugees from my community. On the medical library, I'm on track for doing that. And I'm going to get that. We're going back. The owners, the kids, the office, the business, the wife, the grader, the wife, the neighbor. Discussion of action regarding the consideration of request fuel for library goods and open time. One third. This said, I'd like to make a motion that we roughly upcoming to review committee's decision to keep ways to make sunshine in our school library. Discussion. And those of the voting time. Yes. we're gonna go ahead and do item six, and then after item six, we, under the, not thinking that, on the rest of the first qualification and timeline, we will go on the timeline. So, that's the comment on the, so item number two, discussion and action regarding policy 6.43, consideration of instructional materials. And then to include we're on item six. Discussion and action regarding policy 6.43. No, I was not. I was not. You go to the section. Discussion and action regarding policy 6.43. I don't have a motion, but, I'm not ready to vote on any kind of motion on this. I think that, we need to send it back to the February session so that we have more time to, do some research. I would like to see our board attorney, involved librarian input, some of the librarians might say, to give us their professional input. There's people that do this every day, and I value their opinions and their thoughts. So I'm not ready to vote on any action on item 6. If that's good work, you use the way you use it. You cut it up to the curve. That's easy. There's no discussion on the curve, and there's on the ground, over. We're going back to discussion and action regarding registered qualifications. We've already voted on the qualifications, and we've voted on the timeline now. And we're like this.
So, this was, I will have to look at the but other than that, let's give so the
Yes, it's like I said, February seventh, it's February seventh, we will have a update regarding the February, we will have, the patrol, which is policy. We have got four bills next to the board, and then, so, policy 144 will be on there, with the bill next to the board, and our patrol policy, which is not, which is, we will have four bills, which is direction, which is right on that. Next time on the agenda is questions about you tonight. Like that, like the open office here, I know I personally love our teachers, all of our staff, everybody, bus drivers, janitors, they're a great resource. And I'm thankful that districts are letting elected to come represent, I consider it an honor to represent the people of my district. Thank you. That's it, district. This morning, I've sat here beside everybody many years. And she was a lovely lady. We didn't always both play one almost, but we always respected each other. I went to the Texas early, there was a large crowd, and I understand it got too much water. He was a very popular person to the community, and he was happy. But, that's very glad. Thank you, Tim. I think, this man will be sorting this on his own. He did a wonderful job. He supported our school system for many years in several different capacities. The one thing I would miss on Tuesday, I'll have to reach over and cover my house because we certainly didn't want to give this position a hot mic. I've been losing tonight, worn out, but I didn't want to talk about this adding books and book adding business, and I just want to listen to this waiting to make sunshine books. And it's just one of my books items because I was telling Mr. Adam Brown over there before meeting that I think all the way from first grade through 12th grade, I don't think I took the book out of the library and read it from the books that were back then. I did this book. This is a delightful book. I highly recommend it. Let me tell you what it told me. Disappointment has no skin color. Anxiety has no skin color. Accomplishment has no skin color. This child represents growing up. Growing up has no skin color. As I read this book, I got to the point of seeing no skin color. I thought myself. I'm trying to imagine a book that doesn't have emotions and feelings and storylines and feelings. The only thing I can think of is perhaps giving each child an idea discussing and developing my degree, because that's something that does not have any of those. I just see you, this will not be locked into the budget and that discussion. That's something, you know, second, I came here to visit work, just as if you were here. And I'm going to be with her. And I will say again what I said back in December, if you were here. It's the love the family shows. Hear that crazy that time is ended. Because this office that we have here, we
this morning. I have some presentation. Just tell you what, picture that story they just said, that this will be flat. They provide you, they are brilliant, brilliant. He does, inspired. I've been in this house a couple times. He inspires, he challenge, and he encourages his bravery. This comes from the compassion of these people that one sister is. Who's born out. He's a brilliant, he's, I try to make it like to you, if you got wrong, I don't know what else is more important. We can go through these stories, matter of fact, we can do, so, yeah, this will be, this is actually called, the right person. I see it last time. This is probably not a great church. I'm supposed to do that. Until the last person in the line is separate. Sit out the how many years have we been recognizing them students? I realized in last year, I see at the 3 and 4. The number is increasing. I see it for graduating is way more than number. Than they have to have. First grade law. This is just a 40 deal. Yeah, you can get on to topic. And of course, it's just, as you see, there are students by the time they get there myself. The group of representation that we get with Scotland Green, the family that's sitting behind us, Sarah Isaiah from birth, before Sarah walked in. She knows the owner of her banquet bar, what shows, and they decided to not get this group, that this is a first high school record. A lot of children. And the parents of that, so you can do. So, education, and they were teaching with their son for the 40s, that's who we can go on to college. So, I appreciate the work that they've done to graduation first and to prepare these students to take that next step.
Dr. You want to hear for your comments, so